Just as we need a First Amendment to protect basic speech, we need those very same ideals to ensure free speech and free flow of content over the internet. Net neutrality is the First Amendment for the internet.
And so the attacks on the internet and the attacks that I think are just the same in many ways on our ability to vote are all aligned with being able to take away people's ability to be heard and visible and counted.
Before Black Girls Code, when you would just go to any search engine and put Black girls, you would be surprised at what ugly things would come up. It would say Black girls ugly, Black girls stink, Black girls dumb. Right now, if you put Black girls, the top 3 things that will come up is Black Girls Code. It's changing the narrative of who you are and what we can be.
At the time, the Times-Picayune had ceased its newsprint publication. It was going to be digital only. So AT&T and Comcast had come into that market and said, hello, we are the only ones who can provide broadband access, but we're not going to put it in certain communities, certain areas, because it's not profitable for us. And so that meant that Times-Picayune article that will now be digital only would not be getting to these communities.
On the heels of Trayvon Martin and Mike Brown's cases is when we launched Black Men Smile, hashtag Black Men Smile, because it was clear that in those cases, those young men were the victims who were somehow flipped into being the villain, mainly because there were 3 things that the Black male had been identified as and confined within in terms of imagery. He was hypersexual, he was hypermasculine, and he was the villain.
What is often left out of discussions, especially about the Black community and other communities of color, is that the harm caused by these narratives. Because the dominant narrative about people of color throughout our history is that we are a threat to society. This is why net neutrality is a critical racial justice issue and why we must fight to protect it, since people of color have had little power over the construction and distribution of our stories.
What do you see as the power in Black journalists being able to narrate our own stories versus having them told by someone else?
I think that it's a lot about the fact that we know the context to what we're talking about, when a lot of people, I feel like because Black culture has become culture in such a big way, that people think because they see it happen that they understand it. So I think it's important for writers of Black writers, I'll speak about us, to tell these stories, because it's they want our music and our movies and our art, but not us. The importance and the power of us writing our own narratives is that we include us in the story. We include our humanity and our context in it.
Currently, as it stands, the net is not neutral. Not at all. When you have so many monopolies, such as Google and Facebook, where we, the people, we put up the content. Do we get money for that content? No. So the net is not neutral. But every day we're fighting to make it more neutral.
But it is a space where if somebody is ready to build their business, you can start on the internet. We have an entrepreneurship initiative that's pretty widespread across the young professionals, where we're promoting those businesses. And that's for folks who are maybe underemployed and need to have a second income, and it's best for them to own that on their own time. They're consulting. The internet is a place where they're able to use their expertise and display themselves as a subject matter expert now, instead of waiting for somebody to invite them to get that table, that space at the table.
Most definitely the internet and social media was the catalyst for us being able to continue to tell our story, to talk about Jordan. It elevated our story, because we know disproportionately within our own communities, these tragedies are happening all the time. And had it not been for that, slowly but surely our story would have died. But it's through Color of Change. We actually wrote about our story. And of course, I use Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. Had it not been for those mediums where a lot of movement building is done, we would not have been able to create the movement for gun violence prevention.